This is a Wave breaking news alert.
There's definitely plane parked over here. Just mixing all this debris, but we're still trying to access this main part of the fire. We can't get all the way to the front.
Showing a possible explosion, Fern Valley and Grade Lane. We've got multiple calls. I got a UPS plane that possibly landed on a building.
Right now, we're continuing to follow this breaking news. 7 people are dead and 11 others hurt after a UPS plane crashed outside of Muhammad Ali International Airport Tuesday evening. The 3 on board were killed and 4 people on the ground. Video capturing the terrifying moments, and you heard that scanner traffic as first responders were alerted of the crash. JCPS has canceled classes today as a result of the shelter-in-place order. Thanks for joining us for Sunrise Extra. I'm Shannon Kogan.
And I'm Olivia Russell. We're bringing you team coverage this morning, giving you the latest details and developments on that plane crash as we see these horrifying images coming in. Wave News reporter Marissa Burke will tell us more about what's being done to help the families of the victims. And Rob Wells is live at the airport where flights are still grounded.
And Kirsten Foote is going to start our team coverage. She is live on Grade Lane this morning with more. Kirsten.
Yeah, good morning, Shannon and Olivia. Grade Lane, where we are at with Fern Valley Road, remains closed this morning. We're about as far as we can get down Grade Lane, but over my shoulder, it's remained a very active scene overnight. And this first glimpse of sunlight is helping us paint a picture of what the scene looks like further down the road. You can still see crews are out there working that scene right there. Mayor Greenberg, he posted on his social media not long ago that more than 200 first responders were out here last night, and quite a few out here still remain this morning. Now, we also know that the shelter-in-place order that was in effect for a mile around the airport has now been reduced to a quarter mile from the area of 7501 Grade Lane. Now, to take you all back to Tuesday evening, this happened around 5:15. This plane was departing for the Honolulu airport from Louisville here, where you see video showing flames on the plane's left side and a trail of smoke. The plane then lifted slightly off the ground before crashing, where you can see that large plume of fire. And of course, video shows portions of a building's shredded roof next to the end of that runway. We know that 2 businesses were impacted from this crash. That's Kentucky Petroleum Recycling and Grade A Auto Parts here on Grade Lane. Now, we also learned late in the evening that unfortunately that death toll had risen to at least 7. We know that 3 people on board the plane were killed, 4 people on the ground. Take a listen to what Governor Andy Beshear had to say.
But if this is a family you know, please give them your support. Please give them your prayers. Please give them your love and be with them, because the toughest moments, and I can say it from personal experience, are when you're wondering whether that person that you know and you care about has survived something like this.
And in his post just recently, Mayor Greenberg, he also said that the search will take a long time, as this is a very large area. We learned also last night that from LFD Chief Brian O'Neill, he said that backup crews were brought in to help respond to the scene, as well as to cover for any other incidents around the city to make sure that the city was safe last night. But again, a lot of updates with that shelter-in-place order being, narrowed down a little bit this morning here. Also getting our first look at the scene here, and of course, as we get more daylight, we'll bring you more updates as we learn more. Shannon, Olivia, back to you guys.
Thank you, Kirsten. A team of 28 people from the National Transportation Safety Board is expected to arrive in Louisville this morning. Board member Todd Inman, who is a Kentucky native, will serve as the on-scene spokesperson. We're waiting for them to announce when they'll host another press conference with updated information. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says he's praying for the Louisville community and flight crew impacted by this horrific crash.
And new this morning, UPS's second-day air sort at Worldport has been canceled for today. The company says employees on the second-day air sort should not report to work today. The company says they are engaged with the National Transportation Safety Board's investigation and in close contact with the Federal Aviation Administration. UPS says scheduled delivery times for air and international packages will be impacted. Family members or workers who are seeking information from UPS can call 1-800-631-0604.
This morning, some of the families still looking for information on their loved ones who could have been hurt in the crash.
The plane hit two businesses. That's the Kentucky Petroleum Recycling Center and Grade A Auto Parts. And first responders trying to make sure everyone's accounted for. Wave News reporter Marissa Burke is outside of a family assistance center that has now been set up at the LMPD Police Training Academy on Taylor Boulevard. Marissa.
Yeah, that's right, Shannon and Olivia. Officials tell us that 10 of the 11 injured were taken to U of L Hospital, and LMPD is asking families to not go to the hospital looking for answers, but instead meet them over here at the LMPD training facility that is acting as a family reunification center. Now, this area is, again, 2911 Taylor Boulevard. This is a coordinated process designed to help loved ones locate and reconnect with their loved ones. The American Red Cross and the LMPD Victim Services are providing resources and information to families looking for updates. They also have chaplains offering emotional and spiritual support. Inside the Unification Center, many people are making phone calls and passing along information, and we were able to catch up with one woman here last night.
First thought, obviously, was to call my son, Justin. He works at UPS on night shift. I wanted to make sure he was safe, my family was safe. My brother works at the Air National Guard, which is right down the street. And so it was just mainly just getting in touch with my family to make sure everybody was okay.
The Salvation Army dropped off supplies last night, and as you could imagine, Major Hunter described the atmosphere as very emotional. And since we've been here this morning, we haven't seen too many people showing up just yet, but we can imagine that that's going to change in just a few hours. So we'll continue to stay out here and bring you updates as we can. Back to you guys.
Thank you. And Metro Emergency Services says it will continue to monitor air quality throughout the day. Governor Beshear says the plane was not carrying any hazardous materials on board.
Teams are still checking the air for particulates of the plane fuel in the Kentucky Petroleum Recycling Center that was hit by the plane on Great Lane. This is video from smoke that was seen for miles across our area. A shelter-in-place order is still in place in a small radius around the airport. It has been reduced to about a quarter-mile radius around the airport. So certainly, at least things are getting better, too.
Yes, and Tawana's been monitoring, too, the air readings, and surprisingly, not too bad, Tawana.
Yeah, in the actual locations where we saw some of that smoke drifting over yesterday, yes, there was reduced air quality, but widespread across the metro, a lot of our sensors did not see significant spikes, which is certainly some good news. We did get information from the governor and such that there were no hazardous materials on that flight, which is also some good news. Now, in terms of our air quality, most of our sensors are pretty good across our region. The two that are in the moderate category are only slightly above the good category, which ends at 50, and those only max out at 56. So thankfully, the air quality is still decent across our area. No major complaints there. Temperatures are sitting in the 40s and low 50s right now, seeing occasional wind gusts between 10 and 20 miles per hour. The wind will pick up as the morning goes along. We'll see some of those gusts between 20 and 30 miles per hour through the morning and into this afternoon. This morning, we are seeing some of these upper level clouds streaming overhead. As our next system arrives, we'll watch for plenty of sunshine today as we climb into the upper 60s and the low 70s for highs. Shannon.
Thank you. And some people who live around that crash site have been finding debris and ash from the crash on their property. These are some pictures people have sent to us. Some of the material has Hawaii mailing addresses. The plane was scheduled to leave Louisville for Honolulu, an 8.5-hour flight. Federal investigators are asking if you find any debris in your yard, take a picture of it, don't touch it, and then you can report it at louisvilleky.gov/government.
Here's what we know about the plane that crashed, though. It was going to Honolulu, Hawaii. It was a McDonnell Douglas MD-11 made in 1991. The plane model was once used to carry passengers, but now it's primarily used for cargo operations because of its large capacity and capabilities. Records show the last time the model was used to carry passengers was in 2014. This morning, all JCPS schools are closed because of the crash. The district says it will operate like a snow day with no online instruction. The closure includes all extracurricular extracurricular activities and athletics. JCPS says it will check air and water quality at all of the schools near the crash site. District leaders say it will give an update about tomorrow as soon as possible.
And the crash happened right as many people were getting off work, heading home, and so many saw that massive plume of thick black smoke. It could be seen from all over, from miles away. We spoke to a couple who was in the area of the crash just before it happened.
So for something like this to happen is extremely shocking. And, I know that there's injuries, but I hope for the best in a terrible situation.
I thought it was one of my jobs, like it was my job, because I work right off Gray Lane. So I was hoping that everybody made it out okay. I was hoping it wasn't another explosion like we just had at Carbide Industries or that we just had at AAK, dealing with chemicals and, terrorist attacks and stuff going on like that. They just forward a plan on Halloween, I think it was. So I was just hoping that everybody was safe and, everybody made it home. But our prayers are with the families and, hope everybody made it home safe.
Well, sadly, that wasn't the case. At least 7 people were killed, and we still have 11 injured. We're hoping to get an update on their condition soon. More than 38,000 gallons of fuel was on that UPS flight as it was taking off from Louisville's airport. And they did close SDF last night shortly after that crash, and TSA workers also not there.
And we'll be back with updates from inside the airport to show how staff and passengers are adjusting.
This newscast is sponsored by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Now, Wave News.
Well, right after that UPS plane crash, Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport closed, so many flights were canceled. This is a look you can see now. Some of those that were scheduled to take off last night now departing this morning. Some of those flights that were supposed to take off this morning delayed. But so if you are heading out to the airport this morning, you have a flight, it's a good idea to check the status.
Yeah, Mayor Greenberg posted on X that one runway has been reopened, so at least getting some movement there, but still definitely want to check all of that out as you're heading out the door. And airport officials say they hope to get things flowing again today. And Wave News reporter Rob Wells is there live this morning with more on the impacts. Rob.
Yeah, and that impact, we know, Olivia, could be felt for hours, days, maybe even weeks after this. Again, the best advice, according to the airport, if you do have a flight in or out of the airport today, check with your carrier directly. We're right beyond just where the TSA checkpoint is out here, and it's been pretty smooth so far this morning. It was actually busier about 20 minutes ago. We presume that folks were getting on that first flight out here this morning. We have seen folks show up and getting some bad news. Some folks finding out that they're canceled flights for today, or maybe they've been postponed until later this afternoon. Others really happy finding out that their flights are on schedule. It's really kind of a case-by-case situation. I caught up with one couple from Louisville who were headed to Honolulu a little bit earlier this morning, and here's what they had to say.
It's a little bit surreal. You know, it's not something that you see every day, and it's it's a terrible loss. You know. And with this being a UPS area, we're finding out we actually just moved here not too long ago from Hawaii, and so we found out there's a lot of people that are employed by UPS.
Yes, certainly. It was a shock for them, and ironically, they were headed to Honolulu for a trip. Obviously, the UPS jet that was making that same trek last night to Honolulu, unfortunately, went down just after 5 o'clock last evening, and we know the result of that. But again, traffic out here, pretty good. Folks in pretty good spirits. The Delta Airlines desk getting a lot busier. Also, the American Airlines desk busier. I talked to one guy who had a flight scheduled for earlier today to LA. He said he found out that his flight is going to be a lot later this afternoon. He said he's just happy. While his thoughts go out to those who were lost in that flight and all the investigation that'll take place, he's going to be happy to get back to the West Coast and obviously back to his family there. So we'll keep an eye on things out here this morning, but so far so good, and the spirits are pretty good considering everything that's happened. Back to you in the studio for now.
All right. Thank you so much, Rob. Yes, when you take into consideration everything that happened, you have to be patient. By the way, we just heard that Governor Beshear, he is going to hold a press conference this morning at 11:30. We'll bring that to you live during midday.
Yeah, for our first chance to hear new information from last night. So certainly hoping some new stuff can come to light here and we can learn more about this. But Tawana, taking a look at that sunrise right there, at least there's some light on this dark day.
Yes, we are going to see plenty of sunshine across the region for today, which is great for investigators because they need this kind of quiet weather, but they are going to have to deal with some of that wind as we head throughout the day today. Right now, our SkyTrack camera looking towards New Albany, we're seeing the upper level clouds overhead. We're seeing that sunshine now over the horizon, and we're watching the upper level clouds as well on our satellite and radar right now. Now, this is all coming out ahead of this cold front that will quickly move towards us and push through later on tonight into early tomorrow. Your temperatures are in the 40s and low 50s right now. The southerly wind that we're seeing across the area helping with that. Across the metro, temperatures ranging from 44 degrees in New Albany to 55 in Fairdale, seeing 52 degrees right now in St. Matthews. As we head over the next 12 hours, we'll continue to watch those temperatures climbing into the upper 60s and low 70s for your highs with the help of the sunshine plus the gusty winds that I mentioned. We are going to be talking about wind gusts today between 20 and 30 miles per hour for most of us initially as the wind picks up around 10 o'clock this morning. We can see some of those gusts near 35 miles per hour. So I will be watching for that. For tonight, we'll return to the 30s for your lows. Tomorrow, seeing plenty of sunshine with highs only in the upper 50s and the low 60s. Our next big weather maker arrives on Friday. This will bring some showers and thunderstorms as early as Friday morning. A better chance for those storms as we get into Friday afternoon and evening, and some of them could be on the stronger side. In fact, we do have most of wave country outlooked with some sort of severe risk. For those of you along and south of the Ohio, you're underneath a marginal risk of severe weather, but we do have that slight risk for those of you further to the south of the parkways, mainly because of that threat of damaging winds that could come along with some of the stronger storms. Saturday still looking quiet with a mix of sun and clouds and highs in the 60s, but things really start to switch up once we get into Sunday. This is when another low passes by, bringing some more of those rain showers into our forecast as temperatures drop and the colder air races in for your Sunday night to Monday morning, and a lot of us drop below the freezing mark. We do have another low pushing in, and this will bring not just only rain chances, but also the chance for some flurries flying as of right now. So we'll keep an eye on that for your Monday. By the way, Monday will be incredibly cold with highs only in the 30s at best in most spots. Some low 40s in the metro. We'll easily climb back into the mid 50s for highs by the middle of next week.
Thank you, Tawana. Many impacted by the events yesterday span from travelers, Louisville residents, even airplane spotters. A local spotter and a few others meet up around the airport and look and take pictures of the planes as they come and go. He says even though they work with some of the airport and some that work for UPS and being around the airport a couple of times a month, he has never been around a situation like this. He says he never thought he'd see something that could have happened quite like this.
I don't have words. Uncanny is the best way to describe it. It seems like something you see out of a movie or a video game. You know, you see this big, I've seen one video from on the ramp over there, right as it was taking off. The left engine is on fire. It's something you just don't think would ever happen. And the fact that that happened right over there is absurd to me.
He goes on to add that he's seen a plane overrun on a runway before, but this does not compare.
Well, some people who live around that crash area found debris and ash at their home. What officials say you should do if you find any. Well, we know a lot of those flights were canceled. Some are delayed. So Hotel Louisville, located on 120 West Broadway, is helping out. They're providing complimentary lodging and meals to travelers who have been having issues. So if you need help, just go to the hotel, show them your boarding pass. They say this offer stands for up to 3 days while flight schedules are being restored. It'll be on a first come, first serve basis. You can call Hotel Louisville for more information at 502-582-2241.
And of course, we'll be getting more information on this. Governor Andy Beshear said that he will have a press conference at 11:30 this morning. Also getting updates from the airport that at least one runway is reopened right now, but they're asking everyone to check their flight status before they even head out the door. And of course, we're going to stay on top of this morning, and we'll bring you that press conference live here on air as we learn more information.
We're also hoping to speak with other leaders in our area. We did speak earlier to Congressman Morgan McGarvey, who is monitoring this, and also made note that those NTSB investigators, that entire team of 28 or so people here, are working without a paycheck right now due to the government shutdown because another vote in the Senate did not pass.
And they're expected to be here today starting that investigation. We'll be right back.
This Wave News Update is sponsored by Oxmoor Auto Group.
Hi there, I'm Shannon Kogan, and new this morning, Governor Andy Beshear says 16 different families have reported loved ones unaccounted for after a UPS plane crash. The plane crashed about 5:15 Tuesday evening. It was departing Louisville for Honolulu. At least 7 people were killed, 3 on the plane and 4 people on the ground. Governor Beshear says a significant search and rescue mission is still underway. The NTSB will have at least 28 people in the city today to start the investigation, and JCPS canceled school because of the crash and the shelter-in-place order that has now been reduced to a quarter-mile radius from that crash site on Grade Lane. We are expecting to get an update from Governor Beshear at 11:30 this morning, and we'll bring that to you live right here on Wave News. Right now, let's go to Tawana with a look at the weather.
And what we're seeing across the region right now, plenty of sunshine and some upper-level clouds overhead. We're going to keep those clouds drifting throughout the day, and that's sunshine as well throughout the day. Your temperatures are in the upper 40s and low 50s as of right now. As we head over the next 12 hours, we'll see temperatures returning to the upper 60s and low 70s for your highs. A bit windy for today with some of those gusts between 20 and 30 miles per hour through the morning into the afternoon. Our 10-day does show that we are going to get some quiet but colder weather tomorrow, rain returning on Friday, and we're going to keep an eye on the potential for some active weather and even some wintry weather as we start off next week. Also continue to keep an eye on the roads for you this morning because of that crash yesterday. We still have some road closures. 65 north and south ramps to and from Fern Valley Road remain closed. Outer loop from Grade Lane to the outer loop and 65 interchange still will be closed throughout today.
This is a Wave breaking news alert.
We're following the latest after that UPS plane crashed. 7 people are dead, 11 others are hurt after the UPS plane crashed outside of Muhammad Ali International Airport. The 3 people on the plane died and 4 people who were on the ground, and video from so many different angles capturing the terrifying moments. And just a short time ago, Governor Beshear put out a statement saying 16 different families have reported loved ones unaccounted for.
Let's make sure before anything else, we put the families of those that are lost, the families of those that we're worried about first. They deserve it. Let's make sure we pray for them and we support them with everything we have. Thank you, Kentucky.
A team from the National Transportation Safety Board is expected to arrive in Louisville this morning to find the exact cause of that crash. And new this morning, a shelter-in-place order has been reduced to a quarter of a mile around the airport. This as widespread impacts like flight delays and school and business closures start to add up. Thanks for joining us here on Sunrise Extra. I'm Olivia Russell.
And I'm Shannon Kogan. We're bringing you team coverage on the latest developments of that tragedy. Reporter Marissa Burke will have more on what's being done to help the families of victims. And Rob Wells is live at Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport, where those flights, they were all stopped yesterday. They have started resuming this morning.
So we kick off our coverage with Kirsten Foote, who's live on Grade Lane this morning, diving deeper into what we know so far. Kirsten.
Yeah, Shannon and Olivia, sunlight here is really giving us our first look at what the road down Grade Lane looks for us, and the scene remained active all night. You can see crews down there right now still working the scene, and we still seen plumes of smoke this morning. None right now that you can see in the air, but still seeing some plumes of smoke every so often coming into the air. It was hazy earlier this morning and very smoky in the air. Some of that's reduced. There is still a smoky feeling in the air down here. Of course, like you mentioned, that shelter in place has been reduced to a quarter mile around the area, so that's good news on that end. Now, we know that this plane crashed around 5:15 Tuesday evening as it was departing for Honolulu from UPS Worldport here in Louisville, and of course video shows flames on the plane's left wing and a trail of smoke. That plane then lifted slightly off the ground before crashing, where you can see a large plume of fire, and video also revealed portions of a building's shredded roof near the end of that runway. The plane, we know, hit Kentucky Petroleum Recycling and Grade A Auto Parts on Grade Lane. We learned late in the evening that the death toll had risen to at least 7. 4 of those were killed on the ground. The 3 were killed on the plane, those crew members there. And among the 11 who were hurt, some had very significant injuries. Take a listen to Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear.
Wind was doing some things and pushing the smoke in different areas, and as hot as the fire was, it was kind of creating its own atmosphere and doing really what it wanted to do.
And sorry about that. That was Jody Myman there. We also learned from Mayor Greenberg. He posted on social media shortly ago that more than 200 first responders were on the scene last night. That just gives you a glimpse of what crews were dealing with down here. And again, it remains a very active scene this morning. We are here at Fern Valley Road and Grade Lane, that intersection right there. This is as far as we can get. But again, further down the road from us is where that scene is. And we'll keep you updated this morning as we learn more. Traffic is starting to pick up in the area here. There's people that we've talked to who they work further down the road. Their businesses were not impacted, but they have a trucking company down the road and they can't get to their truck this morning. So continuing to follow that and, of course, what the scene looks like. Shannon, Olivia, back to you guys.
Kirsten, thank you. A team of 28 people from the National Transportation Safety Board is expected to arrive in Louisville this morning. Board member Todd Inman will serve as the on-scene spokesperson. He's a Kentucky native. We're waiting for them to announce when exactly they'll host an updated press conference. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says he's praying for the Louisville community and flight crew impacted by this horrific crash. An update from the governor is expected to start at 11:30 this morning.
Your heart just breaks right now for those families who are waiting for answers about their loved ones, where they could be, how they're doing.
And new this morning, Governor Beshear says 16 different families have reported their loved ones are unaccounted for. The governor says LMPD is offering services to help those who might not know where that person is. Wave News reporter Marissa Burke is live at the LMPD training facility on Taylor Boulevard with more. Marissa.
Yeah, Olivia and Shannon, this area is acting as a reunification center for those people who are looking for their loved ones and have questions. It's still really early. We haven't seen anyone showing up just yet, but LMPD did ask us to move a little further away from the doors just to give those families space. Governor Beshear did share that update just earlier this morning, saying that 16 families have reported loved ones unaccounted for. We know 7 people have died. Officials tell us 10 of the 11 injured were taken to U of L Hospital. Families are asked to come to the family reunification area at the LMPD training facility, and the address for that is 2911 Taylor Boulevard. This is because hospitals are not equipped to handle family reunification during this type of emergency. The American Red Cross and LMPD Victim Services are here also helping out, providing resources and information to families seeking getting updates. The Salvation Army is also doing what they can. They've dropped off supplies and resources as well. Major Mark Hunter tells us that it was a very emotional scene last night when families were inside the reunification area.
As you can imagine, waiting to hear, not knowing, having unanswered messages can be very emotional. And so, yes, there are folks that are very tender because they're uncertain about what's going on with their loved ones, their friends, or maybe even a coworker.
Some of the work they're doing inside of the Unification Center, they're making phone calls and sharing information as they can. And it's been a little more than 12 hours since this tragic incident, and people are wanting to hear updates. LMPD is asking people not to go to the hospitals, but instead to come here to 2911 Taylor Boulevard. Marissa Burke, Wave News.
Marissa, thank you. New this morning, UPS's second-day air sort at Worldport has been canceled. The company says employees on the second-day air sort should not report to work. UPS also released a statement. They say in part, quote, "We are terribly saddened by the accident in Louisville. Our heartfelt thoughts are with everyone involved." They add UPS is committed to the safety of our employees, our customers, and the communities we serve. This is particularly true in Louisville, home to our airline and thousands of UPSers. We are engaged with the National Transportation Safety Board's investigation of the accident and are staying in close contact with the Federal Aviation Administration. We will work tirelessly with state and local authorities on response efforts. As a result of the accident, they are halting package sorting operations tonight at Worldport. Family members seeking information should call 800-631-0604.
Well, that shelter in place has been reduced, the radius, to about a quarter of a mile around that crash scene. Before, it was about a mile earlier today. And Louisville Emergency Management has still been monitoring the air quality.
Meteorologist Tawana Andrew has an update on the latest readings this morning as we are tracking that air quality. Tawana?
Yeah, we're going to be keeping an eye on the air quality, which thankfully is good across the area. But I really want to touch on this. This is a vehicle fire that we have on 65 South to 71. And just in, we do have that right lane now open. It was shut down for a while, but we're going to be keeping an eye on this very closely. So we have 65, really just looking at 65, and 71 shut down. This is the backup in that area that we are dealing with right now, and this is going to cause more issues as the morning goes along. Thankfully, it's our only crash that we're seeing across the region as of right now. Temperature-wise, we're sitting in the 40s and the low 50s to start off the day, with some of those wind gusts now near 20 to 25 miles per hour. As we continue through the morning, that wind will continue to pick up with those gusts between 20 and 30 miles per hour across our area. Plenty of sunshine showing up on our SkyTrack camera this morning, and we're going to keep that sunshine around throughout the rest of the day with highs in the upper 60s and the low 70s. So a lot to watch as the day continues, but thankfully today is going to be relatively quiet weather-wise before we see rain returning later on this week. Shannon?
Thank you, Tawana. Meanwhile, people who live around that crash site say they've been finding debris and ash from the crash on their property. These are some pictures that were sent to us. Some of the material also has Hawaii mailing addresses. That plane was scheduled to head to Honolulu from Louisville. Federal investigators are asking people not to touch any of the debris that is found, but instead take a picture of it and report it.
We are also asking the public, if they were to find any debris in the area, to please avoid touching this debris and report the debris.
You can report that debris by going to louisvilleky.gov/government. We'll be right back. after the UPS plane crash, Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport was closed down. So people who were scheduled to fly out yesterday afternoon, some of them, as you can see, now have flights that are taking off this morning. So it looks like the flights mostly resumed about 7 o'clock, but a lot of those flights that were supposed to take off this morning have been canceled, as you can see, as they're working at the airport to try to get people to where they planned to go.
Yeah, and if you're heading out this morning, make sure you check your flight and your airline to make sure that flight is still scheduled and what time it could leave. And a lot of people there are still going to the airport this morning, crossing their fingers. White News reporter Rob Wells has more on the impacts this morning. Rob?
Yeah, and Olivia, we know that impact's going to be for a long time now. We've been here at the airport since just before 4:30 this morning. The TSA checkpoint's not too busy, but I want you to take a look right behind me. This is where we're seeing the real buildup at the actual check-in counters for all the airlines directly. American seeing a big backup right now. That was not like that about 20 minutes ago. So I don't know if these are folks anticipating that they had maybe an 8:30 flight, maybe a 9 a.m. flight, just to find out. We are speaking to a lot of folks who maybe were in hotels or accommodations or in town for business. So they checked out and are here now, just simply finding out if they still can get a flight back to their home destination, wherever that might be. It's basically just pack your patience if you come out here today. The airport saying you do want to check with your carrier. Things are resuming very slowly, but obviously a major investigation still underway. We do have a graphic. I don't know if we can pull that up or not, but it did get a statement from us a little bit earlier from the airport itself, saying in part that, quote, any traveler scheduled to depart from or arrive to Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport should closely monitor their flight status. The airfield expected to be available for passenger cargo operations today. Officials have been in contact with the NTSB, who will be on site all throughout the day. So again, it's going to be a lot of wait and see out here. There may be some delays. I talked to one gentleman who was out here 3 hours before his scheduled flight back to Los Angeles, only to find that that flight is going to go out, but he's going to be hanging out here at the airport until about 4 o'clock this afternoon, getting ready to head back to the West Coast. So a lot of patience and a lot of time as this investigation continues. For now, we'll send it back to you, though, in the studio.
Boy, that's going to be a long day for that person. By the way, Hotel Louisville is helping people out. If they say just go there with your boarding pass, and they'll help you out with a room and some food too.
Yeah, which is really important. I just love to see the community coming together to help out in this kind of a situation, this devastating situation. And of course, we're continuing to keep an eye on the air quality across the region. Most of our sensors are green, which is good. We do have 2 in the yellow, which is moderate, but thankfully that is not incredibly high in terms of the lower air quality in those spots. Good ranges from 0 to 50. Those are only in the really just 50 to 55 range as of right now, which is some good news despite everything that happened yesterday. And we are keeping an eye on the airport as, of course, they're beginning the investigation. They're still searching in that recovery mode as well. Earlier, we were seeing some smoke in this area. Thankfully, not anymore, as crews are still out and about working hard to potentially even find more people who are injured or unfortunately killed in this incident. What we're seeing right now across the area weather-wise, continuing to watch these upper-level clouds drifting on by. We're keeping an eye on this front off towards our west that will scoot in later on today and help to increase our really wind across the region for today. We're sitting in the 40s and low 50s as of right now. We're going to climb into the upper 60s and low 70s for your highs for later on this afternoon. And that wind will also pick up as the morning goes along, gusting between 20 and 30 miles per hour. So a pretty windy morning and afternoon on the way, especially once we get closer to around 8, 9 o'clock, really is when we'll see that wind starting to pick up a little bit more across our region. Tomorrow, the wind is going to be lighter, but we will also be colder with highs only in the upper 50s and the low 60s. We do have to continue to monitor that chance for some rainfall on Friday. We'll watch for some of those showers and thunderstorms moving in as early as Friday morning, sticking around through the afternoon, and then moving out Friday night. Now, some of those storms for Friday evening and even Friday afternoon, especially for those of you further to the south, could be on the stronger side. That's why most of us are outlooked with some sort of severe risk. The majority of the region along and south of the Ohio River underneath a marginal risk, but we do have a slight risk, level 2 out of 5 risk for those of you south of the parkways, mainly focused in on the damaging wind threat. On your Saturday, a mix of sun and clouds, and another area of low pressure arrives on Sunday. This will bring a couple of rain showers into our forecast, but as temperatures fall late Sunday into Monday, we could see not just rain, but even some snowflakes flying, especially for Monday morning. So we're going to keep an eye on the impacts with that, especially with temperatures, air temperatures anyway, below freezing. Ground temperatures, though, still pretty warm, which is good news. We'll warm up as we head through next week.
Thanks, Tawana. As we wake up to more devastating news of that UPS plane crash, the Big Four Bridge was lit up yellow last night to honor the victims. Mayor Craig Greenberg says he hopes everyone thinks about the lives lost and the families forever changed.
And experts from across the aviation industry are reacting to the crash. We spoke to an expert who says it could be months before the official cause is determined.
So there's a history, but it's been years, I think, since we've had a serious MD-11 case like this in the United States. I think there have been cargo MD-11 crashes all over the world. So it's difficult to say whether this is an old problem rearing its head or something else. Maybe there was something involved in the maintenance of the engines, for example. Different engines come from different manufacturers, present different issues. It may be the fuselage of the aircraft, the main body, the MD-11. It could be an engine manufacturing or design issue. Frankly, it's just very hard to know at this stage.
And TSB investigators will be on site today trying to figure out what caused the crash. But again, the investigation could take a long time, but we will keep you updated every step of the way.
As first responders and other officials continue to work to unpack all the details from yesterday's crash, it comes almost 1 year since another tragic emergency in our area, the Givaudan plant explosion. On November 12, 2024, an explosion at the plant reduced the facility to rubble. 2 people died due to the explosion, while it also left several others injured. Nearby homes and businesses were damaged, shattering windows and leaving damage to buildings. Some residents in the Clifton neighborhood were even displaced. The ATF believes the cause of that explosion was a cooking vessel with poor ventilation. We'll be right back with more local.
And that plane crash brought out first responders from all across the region. Governor Beshear says nearly every emergency response agency in Louisville was at the scene, and it drew teams from Bullitt County, Nelson County, and Lexington. Louisville Fire Chief Brian O'Neill says crews from Okolona Fire were the first on the scene. He said every firefighter they had to help was called.
There are more than 100 firefighters on the scene from across the region that are still here, that are working to make it safe for everyone in our community, as well as that are searching for additional victims.
Louisville Fire says they do have enough crew on call throughout the city to answer any issues throughout today.
Firefighters at Muhammad Ali International Airport just trained for an emergency like this. This video is from a simulated plane crash with injuries, and it happened back on October 21st. The full-scale emergency drill is required by the FAA every 3 years. Since 2023, the airport authority has invested more than $2 million in emergency response equipment, including rescue trucks and triage tools. Now, quick recap of the new developments we've learned about the UPS crash just within the last hour.
Governor Andy Beshear now reporting that 16 different families have reported loved ones unaccounted for after the UPS plane crash near the Muhammad Ali Airport. And at least 7 people were killed. 3 were on the plane and 4 were not on the plane, on the ground. Governor Beshear says a significant search and rescue mission is underway.
The airport says at least 1 runway is now back open. TSA screenings remain ongoing this morning for departing passengers. The NTSB will have at least 28 people in the city today to start their investigation into what caused the crash.
And UPS's second-day air sort at Worldport has been canceled for today. The company says employees on the second-day air sort should not report to work. And family members of UPS workers who are looking for information can call the UPS hotline 1-800-631-0604. And Governor Beshear will host an update this morning at 11:30. We'll bring that to you live right here on Wave.
Yeah, we'll bring that to you live along with any other developments as we learn them throughout the day. Thanks so much for joining us for Sunrise Extra.
This Wave News Update is sponsored by Oxmoor Auto Group.
Hi, I'm Shannon Cogan. Governor Beshear says 16 different families have reported loved ones unaccounted for after that UPS plane crash. The plane crashed about 5:15 Tuesday evening as it was leaving Louisville for Honolulu. At least 7 people were killed. 3 of those were on the plane, 4 were on the ground. Governor Beshear says a significant search and rescue mission is underway, and the NTSB will have a team of about 28 people in the city today to start the investigation. And and JCPS canceled school today because of the air quality and people being told to stay indoors within a quarter-mile radius of that crash site. We're expecting to get an update from the governor at 11:30 this morning, and as we get that and other press conferences, we'll bring those to you live. Right now, let's go to meteorologist Tawana Andrew, and at least we have some good weather for today.
Yes, we have quiet weather across the region, seeing plenty of sunshine beaming down on us already with some of those upper level clouds overhead. And these upper level clouds will stream throughout the day, but not seeing any impacts from those. Your temperatures are in the 40s and the low 50s right now. As we head over the next 12 hours, we'll climb right back into the upper 60s and low 70s for your highs. The wind will pick up throughout the morning. Keep that in mind. We are going to see some of those wind gusts between 20 and 30 miles per hour in most locations. Keeping an eye on a couple of issues this morning on the roads. We have a vehicle fire at 65 South 271. The right lane is blocked, seeing significant delays in that area. We're also keeping an eye on what's happening on 65 southbound. For those of you in Bullitt County, we are seeing significant delays because of a crash in that area. So pack your patience there. And across the metro, don't forget, we still have some road closures south of the airport because of that crash yesterday.